Hello and welcome to the Creatively Functional Lifestyle Podcast. Your host is Pam Miller, a mature digital nomad, an ex-nurse and a trainer with an MBA, loving natural and simple ways to navigate hiccups on my path. Welcome as I tread lightly yet make a positive difference on our earth. I hope I can inspire and guide you to get what you also have always wanted. Well, hello. Welcome to my new podcast, something I've been thinking about for years. My name is Pam Miller. I am a Namibian originally, which meant that given when I was born, I was also South African. But I was lucky enough to have a British passport from my mother, which I got in the last 10 years or so when the law changed. And I had to leave Namibia 5 years ago. And I'm now living in Scotland with my partner. But half the time I spend in Portugal to keep my residency so that when my partner retires within a year or so, we can live in Portugal. So I wanted to introduce myself so that you know who is Pam, who is the host of the show, and do I resonate with her in any way and would want to listen to her. I think it behoves all of us to show who we are and what we have to offer. So what I'd like to do now is just go through a few bits about me, and at the same time I am going to have some photos up on the screen so that if you are watching YouTube, you have more than just my slide to look at. So I had to leave Namibia because of the financial issues in Namibia. I was working for myself. I have an MBA. I was originally a nurse and I was doing vocational education. Loved what I was doing and I achieved a lot in Namibia. I was the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry for Swakopmund, Namibia, where I was living. I started a Toastmasters club. Toastmasters is something I've loved for years. And I had won the Bright Spark Award when I was still living in Johannesburg after my MBA because of the work I did in that year in reigniting the passion for Toastmasters and learning in so many of the clubs. And I received that award, and I was really chuffed about that. When I moved back to Namibia, I set myself up in business on consulting because of my MBA, nursing, because of my nursing career, and I did community nursing, but I also trained carers. And this is why now I'm looking at whether it would be viable to help people come over as carers because there's a new carer visa. So I'm always looking for opportunities. While I was in Namibia, I really progressed and did well. I also had a radio show. And once a week, I'd have a little half-an-hour show on things I'd read, things I was interested in, commentary on the economy, on what was happening. And I loved it, which is why a podcast suits me. Now that I'm here, though, coming over, I came over as an economic migrant. And that was a huge come down for me. And I, in a way, I hesitate to use the words, but in a lot of ways, it was a good transition. Why I'm speaking about it is because I was lucky enough to make it through. And I think the reason I made it through is because of what I did in my TEDx, or the subject I spoke about in my TEDx talk, which I did in Swakopmund as well. And my talk was on the skills you need for a career that are not directly related to the subject of your career. So whether you're an accountant, whether you're a nurse, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a handyman, you need certain skills: communication, networking, teamwork, research, writing. You need all of those things. And I supported those strongly in my training of people who are already in careers. And I would make sure that what I was training matched the qualification they were going to get at the end of it, including those, what some people call soft skills, so that they were a rounded employee, a rounded career person. I was pleased to see, and I'm quite proud of the fact, that when Namibia started doing something called recognition of prior learning, where they said people who've worked in a career for at least 3 years can showcase their skills. And if they meet the requirements of a qualification, they can get that qualification. And they did a case study with hospitality, which I was training in. And of the I think there were 120 people who successfully navigated that pilot program. 20 of those in the whole of Namibia were my students. And I think that is one of my skills that has got me through, is the ability to take a complex subject like a qualification, based in your work and help you to achieve that. Help you to manage the administration, because there's a huge administration involved with that. But I managed all of that, and I'm really proud of the fact that 20 of the 120 in Namibia were my students who got their qualifications using this recognition of prior learning. And that's why I did the TEDx talk, because I think I had something to offer. So leaving Namibia, because I couldn't earn my money anymore, and seeing the corruption in Namibia, I'm saddened and I'm angry at what has happened to Namibia, which excluded people like me who were making a difference. And I left, having received the Chairman's Award for my role in the Chamber of Commerce and Industry and reigniting it and reinvigorating it. And I came over here. Quite a come down in career, but also in my stress levels. Oh, my stress deteriorated dramatically, or decreased rather, dramatically. And I'm a much happier person, but I've also navigated the roles. So when I came over, yes, I was offered jobs. I could go to Saudi Arabia and lecture in business because of my MBA, but the day before I decided I'm not going because I wasn't supported. As the company who was sending us out basically said, look, we send you out, you do your job, we pay you, that's it. But you're in a country like Saudi Arabia where you can't speak the language, where as a woman you have no rights. I wouldn't even have been able to call a taxi and get on a flight to come home easily. And I thought, no, too much stress, too much anxiety, too much risk. So while the money would have been wonderful, I decided not. I also ran into the 0 hours contract issue where basically they can offer you a job, you accept the job, but you're not guaranteed work, which is what happened. So after a while in England, where I realized I am not suited to the English way of life, I came up to Scotland and I loved it. There's more passion, there's more humanity up here. And I fitted in far better. I got a job in a call center because of my Afrikaans, and I loved it. I'd go into work every day and call up South Africans and have a chat. And it suited me well. That networking with people on the phone was fabulous. Unfortunately, that only lasted about 6 months because the contract was moved to England. I then moved into another call center. What they were selling was not great, or what they were supporting, because I didn't sell. What they were supporting was technology, not my strength. I then tried caring. I'd done it before when I was in the UK in my 20s. Wasn't mad about it then, and although in some ways I was a better carer, in other ways, though, the business has changed. And I didn't, one, you didn't earn enough money, but secondly, you were basically in and out, you didn't form a relationship easily. We then moved from, I forgot to mention my partner. While I was in Scotland, I'd come up, I had a few weeks, I had my car, and I was going to see where I was going to stay in Scotland. I'd had good reception to my CV and to applying for jobs, so I followed up on those. Stayed in the cheapest guest house I could find in Edinburgh for a few nights. Met the guy who was managing it, and he offered me the post a few weeks later of staying at the guest house for free and managing the night check-ins. Meant I didn't have expenses, so I could take an entry-level job in the city, which I couldn't afford if I wasn't getting free accommodation and having no costs. So I did that for about 5 months. But the owner or the manager of the guest house also decided I needed a man. I'd been single my whole life, and quite happily single. I wasn't prepared to give up my life for something that wasn't more valuable than what my life was at the time. And he introduced me to men who were suitable. He checked them all first, checked that they were viable, solvent. And I met my partner. His name is Norman, and you see him on a few of the photos. And it's a wonderful partnership. We are very happy, and my life is better with him than without him. So he decided and said to me, he doesn't want to retire in Scotland. That's not where he wants to live. And I had a look around Portugal. By this stage, we were in Aberdeen because he'd been offered a job up there. We'd moved up. 3 months after moving, when I was saying I need to find a job, lockdown came. I eyed Portugal and I thought, well, while I'm not working, because the jobs were not advertised as much. I will go out to Portugal, get residency before Brexit happens. And once my residency is in hand, I have to spend 6 months of the year here, and I'm actually in the Algarve as we speak. Norrie, which I don't call him that often because I can't say my R's properly. He's at home in Aberdeen, and he's earning the money so that I can be here. I'm retaining my residency and doing all the paperwork, all the admin, all the research, which is what got us here in the first place and what will keep us here. To get a property, get our residency, get all our papers in order, pay tax, do everything we need to. So we're in flux at the moment, but that is also what makes me a digital nomad, and a mature digital nomad at that. Now, I'm very happy doing that. And I have realized that I've got some unique skills that makes it possible for me to come over. Sure, I was single and so on, which made it easier on the one hand, but also meant that I was navigating this all on my own. My brother and my sister did support me, did help me, but basically it's up to me. I think I've navigated it quite well. I'm now in a position where I'm far better off than where I was in Namibia. I am creating a world and a life that I want. I'm reinventing myself, and I've done this a few times. So what I'm doing is setting myself up as a mentoring coach online with a friend of mine, Almeen, who I did my MBA with in Johannesburg in 2000. And I am creating an online program, a support program, a cheerleading program for people, tends to be women of our age, but not necessarily, who are saying, you know what, I've got to midlife. Is this a crisis, or have I got clarity in midlife? And I'm saying, this isn't what I want. How do I get to what I want? And in some ways it's easier than you think, in other ways it's not. But the one thing you do need is support. That was the bit that I missed. And I'm working on both sides. The technical, tactical side of being an online digital nomad, but also the belief in myself that actually I can do this, that I'm entitled to do this, that I can do it. Because I think once you hit 40, you start thinking, nobody wants to hear from me. Nobody likes my opinion. The world has changed. But you can get to a stage where you say, the world is so big, there's an audience for me. I just have to put myself out there. And that is where I am right now. And I hope that you will join me on this journey, whether you're a South African, whether you're a woman, whether you're a human who's reached middle age and thinking, is this all there is? Is this it? Am I done? No, we're not done. We've got plenty. We are in our wise years. And we have navigated things. We've learned things. We've got experience. We've lived through things. We've got skills and abilities that other people don't have. So here I sit in Portugal, live half my life in Aberdeen with my partner. He comes over regularly. And we have found a way on one income to do this. However, I want to earn money so that when he retires, I'm the one earning the income and we swap roles. And this is why I call it the creatively functional lifestyle. And my podcast is going to be about my life, my interest, the things that I think are important in the life, how I got to the stage. And I hope that you will join me as we navigate this world, reinvent ourselves and become who we want to be. Not who we dream of, but who we want to be. And that is a whole new ballgame. So thank you for joining me. I see that I've been recording for 14 minutes and I wanted to be on for 15. So, looking forward to hearing from you. In my podcast, I will be interviewing people, talking about all of my interests. Immigration, work, careers, lifestyle, the things that are important, our contribution to the world, because I think it's very important that we need to be part of this world, take what we want, but also give back. So thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you again. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next time on this journey to what we want, a creatively functional lifestyle. You can find me on social media as well as YouTube and on my blog. All the links are below. Please subscribe, and you can drop me a note for an interview or a subject you want covered, and join me in this creatively functional lifestyle.